Good morning, everyone. In just 2 minutes, I will start because very less number of participants are there. In just 2 minutes, we will start. Okay, so good morning, one and all. Let us start with our last unit, that is unit number 6. So here in this unit, the name is, let me share this slideshow. Okay. So our 6th unit, that is the last unit of second section and also the syllabus, that is the migration to cloud. So here in this unit, we are covering the bits like when and not to migrate to cloud. So what are the different reasons when you are going to opt for the cloud or cloud computing and when not? Okay. Um, then migration path for cloud, how you are going to migrate it, migrate your data to the cloud. So that path will be studied. Then selection criteria for cloud deployment. So how you will be going for one particular cloud, cloud computing or the service providers in that case, the selection criteria for the same, and the issues or risks in migrating to the cloud computing. So the issues or what are the different risks when you are going to use the cloud computing, so that will also be studied now in this particular unit. Okay, so about title of the chapter. So as we know, the name of the chapter is migration to the cloud. So how already the concepts related to cloud computing and all the basics we have covered. So now we are going to cover, that is the how you are going to migrate, means with your central data or data on the server, how you are going to migrate it to the cloud. What are the different risks, what are the different pros and cons and other details that we are going to see in this particular unit, in this particular chapter. Okay, so about central idea of the chapter, so this part we are going to cover, that is how you are going to migrate, importance of the chapter in the syllabus. Yeah, definitely. If you are studying one particular subject, so you should be in the condition or in the position to give the benefits or the risks, the criteria, how you are going to select a particular environment. So that particular, all these points you need to study properly. So that is why the this particular chapter in the syllabus is very important. Actually, this chapter should be taken at the prior condition. That means like it should be included in the not last but second or third chapter, it should be there, but it's okay, we are going to study it somewhere. And the chapter outcome, so at the end of this chapter students will be able to, so I have included the fourth CO chapter outcome only here, but you may be able to so here with this chapter, you may be able to address the security and privacy concerns for the given cloud application scenario. That is our fifth CO. Then determine technological implications for selecting a cloud computing platform. Okay, and also determine financial implications. So that part I forgot to add in this slide as the chapter outcome, but you can consider those two also over here as the chapter outcome. Okay, so let us start with the unit. So when, first bit is when and not to migrate to the cloud. Okay, so as we know, cloud migration, as we know, it is the procedure of transferring the applications, data, and other types of business components to any of the cloud computing platform, isn't it? So we have seen the example like which different applications you can use as we know, we are using the Google platform. So what different activities we are using, not only the drive we are sharing, but also the applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or photos, or anything we are using, isn't it? So how you're going to transfer your data to these particular applications? Then on again, the data is like anything. Maybe it comes to your like different types of files. Okay, your storage, your data, maybe books, maybe different files, worksheets, documents, etc., or other types of business components, other type of any business related data, how you are going to migrate it or transfer it on the cloud or any cloud computing platform. So that is nothing but the cloud migration. Okay, so there are several parts of cloud migration an organization can perform. So the most used model is the application and data transfer through an on-premises and local data center to any of the public cloud. But a cloud migration can also entail the transferring application and data from a single cloud environment or facilitate them to another. So a model called as a cloud to cloud migration. So the other type of cloud migration is the reverse and cloud migration, cloud exit and cloud repatriation, where the applications or data are transferred and back to the local data center. So some of the pros are included in this figure. So we are going to see them one by one. So pros or the benefits, advantages of cloud computing. So the organizations migrate to a cloud for various reasons, but normally when faced with many challenges of developing IT infrastructure within the most secure and cost-effective way possible. So some of the advantages for migrating to a cloud are as below, as listed in the figure. So first of all is the flexibility. So what is flexibility? That is nothing but the no organizations are facilitating the experiences a similar demand level by a similar number of users every time. My internet pack is about to end. Let me check how much data I have. Oh, very less data is remaining. Let me, okay, no problem. So if our apps face the fluctuations in the traffic, then cloud infrastructure permits us to scale down and scale up to meet the demand. Hence, we can apply only for those resources we require. So that kind of a flexibility will be given by this cloud platform. That means if you have given a pack of say 5 different applications, but you will be required only 2 of them, out of those 5. Okay, so no need to pay for the other 3. You will be responsible for obtaining the advantages or obtaining the benefits of these 2 only, isn't it? So that kind of a flexibility will be given by your cloud platform. Then next is the scalability. So the analytics grow as the organization grows with databases and other escalates the workloads. So the cloud facilitates the ability to enhance the existing infrastructure. That is why the applications have the space to raise without impacting the world. So that much scalable your applications or the benefits by cloud computing you will be getting. Then the next one is the agility. So the part of the development is remaining elastic. It will be elastic enough for responding to rapid modification within the technology resources. So that means whenever you are going to change, or suppose for example, you will be requiring like some more data space for any of the application. So on demand, you will be getting it. No need to go for purchasing extra hardware, extra software or so. Okay. So that much flexibility, agility you will be getting. So cloud adoption offers this by decreasing the time drastically. So it takes for procuring new storage and inventory, isn't it? Next is the productivity. So productivity, our cloud provider could handle the complexities of our infrastructure, so we can concentrate on the productivity. Furthermore, the remote accessibility and simplicity of most of the cloud solutions define that our team can concentrate on what matters, such as growing our business. So definitely the productivity means maximum benefit out of my service should be given to my users. Okay. So that part of that kind of a service will be provided here with this, isn't it? Then security. The cloud facilitates the security than various other data centers by centrally storing the data. Also, most of the cloud providers give some built-in aspects, including the cross-enterprise visibility, periodic updates, security analytics, etc. And finally, the profitability. So the cloud pursues a pay-per-use technique. So there is no requirement to pay for the extra pay extra charges to invest continually in training, on maintaining, making, and updating the space for various physical servers. Then next one is cloud migration strategies types. So types, migrating to a cloud can be a good investment for our businesses. So might be admiring where to start, like several companies. So Gartner specifies some options that are widely called as the 6 R's of migrations. Okay, so you need to consider these 6 R's, which are defined here in the figure. So the first one is R, that is rehosting, lift and shift. we can call it as. So rehosting, the most general path is rehosting. Or lift and shift, which implements as it sounds. It holds our application and then it will drop it into our new hosting platform without changing the architecture and code of the app. Also, it is a general way for enterprises unfamiliar with the cloud computing. So who will give the profit from the deployment speed without having to waste money or time on planning for the enlargement? Besides, by migrating our existing infrastructure, we are applying a cloud just like other data centers. So it pays for making good use of various cloud services present for a few enterprises. For example, adding the scalable functions to our application to develop the experience for an improving segment of many of the users. Second R is nothing but the re-platforming. So re-platforming is also called as a lift, tinker, and shift. So it includes making some of the cloud organizations without modifying our app's core architecture. It is the better strategy for enterprises that are not ready for the configuration and expansion, or those enterprises that wish to improve the trust inside the cloud. So for them, this re-platforming will be feasible. Third R is the refactoring. So what does it mean? It means to rebuild our application from leverage to scratch cloud native abilities. So we could not perform serverless computing or auto scaling. A potential disadvantage is vendor lock-in, as we are recreating on the cloud infrastructure. It is the most expensive and time-consuming route, as we may expect, but it is also future-proof for enterprises that wish to take benefit from more standard cloud features. It covers the most common three approaches for migrating our existing infrastructure. Fourth R is repurchasing. So it means replacing our existing application along with a new SaaS based and cloud native platforms such as homegrown CRM using the Salesforce. So the complexity is losing the existing training and course familiarity with our team over a new platform. However, the profit is ignoring the cost of the development. So the repurchasing is the most cost-effective process if moving through a highly personalized legacy landscape and minimizing the apps and service number that we have to handle. Once we have accessed the nature and size of our application portfolio, we may detect cloud migration is not correct for us. Next R, that is retiring. So when we don't find an application useful, then simply turn off these applications. The consequencing savings may boost our business situation for application migration if we are accessible for making the move. And the last R, that is nothing but the revisiting. So revisiting, maybe all or some of our applications must reside in the house. For example, applications that have unique sensitivity or handle internal process to an enterprises. So don't be scared for revisiting cloud computing at any later date. We must migrate only what makes the effects to the business. So these are we have covered, that is rehosting, replatforming, refactoring, repurchasing, retiring, and revisiting. Then process of cloud migration. So the way we consider the strategies of cloud migration, as mentioned now, depends on the migration goals, the complexity, and the size of the current environment and our business model. So at this time, we will want to trust our IT team's expertise to understand the various outs and in of our environment. So whether we transfer all the services and apps at once or take the hybrid path of keeping a few applications on premise, the most of the migration pursue a similar basic procedure as listed now. The first one is plan our migration. Okay. So the first one is the plan our migration. To plan our migration, cloud migration needs a solid planning strategy to be successful. So get clear over our reasons for the transfer and which of the migration strategy best helps them before getting the beginning. So here is where we might apply cloud migration resources and tools for supporting our migration plan by first of all giving the complete visibility into our on-premise platform, including each system dependency, and secondly, assessing the security of server and platform requirements. So also examine what type of training our team will require. So first of all, before planning or at the time of planning our migration, you should be in the position of giving complete visibility into our on-premises platform, including each system dependency. That means you should be in the position what are your requirements, to whom you are giving which particular rights, and other basic details should be clear with you. And secondly, assessing the security, server, and the platform requirement. What type of different services, what type of a security, and all these things should be clear with you. So also examine what type of training our team will require. Okay, so I will be switching to the cloud. So what type of a team I may need? What will be their expertise area that should be aware to you? So this is the first point, that is plan our migration. Second is select our cloud environment. So we are ready to select any cloud provider. That matches our requirements after evaluating our latest application resource needs. So the most popular environment may include Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure, and AWS, Amazon Web Services. So all of these environments provide a lot of distinct cloud models for adopting. Whether it is multi-cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, or public cloud. So price out, test, and build out a virtual workspace for seeing how things appear in the distribution. Third step is migrate our data and apps. So we have three options for moving a local data center to a public cloud, such as online transfer with either private network or public internet, or an offline transfer. Okay. Here we upload data on the application for shipping to any cloud provider. So one of the best approaches relies on the type and amount of data we are speed and moving on which to implement it. The fourth step is certify post-move success. So our work is not complete until we can show any return over the investment in our migration. So the cloud migration tools used for this are listed here. So the third-party vendors and cloud providers facilitate a lot of automated cloud-based open sources services and tools designed for certifying the post-migration success, then manage and monitor its progress, and help to develop for cloud migration. So some of the essentials for the same are given, like first one is APM, application performance management. So here in this case, bear in mind that during cloud vendors offer access to the metric rich set for acknowledging modifications in our cloud environment. Usually these metrics are not in the overall application context. So we will need an isolated monitoring situation or solution for the visibility level. We can create real-time correlations among the end user experience, application performance, and cloud service utilization with a solution that may include App Dynamics APM, application performance management. Second is unified monitoring. So it is the emerging ability that gives full visibility into our whole application, supporting the components, infrastructure, database, application, end user, and ecosystem. So these are running in the cloud and on-premises. We can easily find the issues of cloud migration that will usually cause war room calls. So we have to be ensured for selecting the tools that incorporate our platforms and operating systems. The capabilities of cloud migration we require down the line may even resolve which cloud provider we opt for today. And third is business intelligence monitoring. So it is a kind of tool we will need to verify the cloud migration profits. So check for a tool same as App Dynamics, Business IQ, that can compare post and pre-move performance baseline through a business and technical perspective. Accordingly, optimize the enterprise performance, simulates the experience of the user during all the phases of our migration project, and track the enterprise transactions for revealing the true effect on our bottom line. So some of the cloud migration challenges are given over here. So we can't use the strategies of the cloud without accurate planning. Some of the common pitfalls are discussed now. In which the first is interoperability, second is resource availability, and resource management. So first of all, interoperability. So it is not easy to get our existing applications for communicating with new cloud environment. We need to maintain our processes and procedures to those of our cloud providers to make sure they do. Then next is resource availability. So the process of migration may need holding in-house servers offline temporarily, but downtime can be harmful to the application performance when not supported by an accurate plan for the recovery process. And finally, the resource management. So yet not all the professionals of IT trust the cloud. If our team has been used to handling physical servers, they may require educating over newer infrastructure or reconfigure to define new roles. So the more complex or larger our latest infrastructure, the stronger these challenges are for the overcoming. So that is why our IT team must hold on to this appealing transformation, armed using the services of cloud migration that could migrate these issues, including the openness to the modifications, room for development, and sound strategy. Then migration paths for the cloud. So the next bit is migration paths for the cloud. So any doubt till now? If you have any doubt, you can ask it at this time, or else I can move further. Okay. So the next bit is migration paths for the cloud. So cloud migration is when a company moves some of some or all of its data center capabilities into the cloud, usually to run on the cloud-based infrastructure provided by a cloud service provider such as AWS, Cloud, Google Cloud, or Azure. So as more uh, and more companies have already transitioned to the cloud migrations are increasingly taking place within the cloud as companies migrate between different cloud providers, which are known as cloud to cloud migration. But for those making the initial foray to the cloud, there are a few critical considerations to be aware of, which we will take just now. So the first is, what are the main benefits of migrating to the cloud? So some of the benefits that compel the organizations to migrate resources to the public cloud are given over here. So first of all is the scalability. Okay, so the cloud computing can scale to support larger workloads and more users much more easily than on-premises infrastructure. So in additional IT environments, companies had to purchase and set up the physical servers, software licenses, storage, and network equipment to scale up the business services. Second is cost. So the cloud providers take over the maintenance and upgrades. Companies migrating to the cloud can spend significantly less on the IT operations. They can devote more resources to innovate, developing new products, or improving the existing products. Then performance. So migrating to the cloud can improve the performance and end user experience. Applications and websites hosted in the cloud can easily scale to serve more users or higher throughput and can run in geographical locations near to the end users to reduce the network latency. And finally, the digital experience. So users can access the cloud services and data from anywhere, whether they are employees or the customers. So this contributes to digital transformation, enables an improved experience for the customers, and provides the employees with modern and flexible tools. Then next is, what are the common cloud migration challenges? What are the different challenges that we are going to see now? So cloud migrations can be complex and risky, we can say. So here are some of the major challenges facing many organizations as they transition the resources to the cloud. So first of all is the lack of strategy. So many organizations start migrating to the cloud without devoting the sufficient time and attention to their strategy. So successful cloud adoption and implementation require rigorous end-to-end cloud migration application or cloud migration planning. So each application and data set may have different requirements and consideration and may require a different approach to the cloud migration. The organizations must have a clear business case for each workload it migrates to the cloud. Second is cost management. So when migrating to the cloud, many organizations have not set clear KPIs to understand what they plan to spend or save after migration. So this makes it difficult to understand if the migration was successful from an economic point of view. So in addition, cloud environments are dynamic and costs can change rapidly as new services are adopted and applications usage grows. And then vendor lock-in. So what is that? So vendor lock-in is a common problem for adopters of cloud technology. Cloud providers offer a large variety of services, but many of them cannot be extended to the cloud platforms. So migrating the workloads from one cloud to another is a lengthy and costly process. Many organizations start using cloud services and later they may find it difficult to switch the providers if the current provider does not suit with their requirements. Then data security and compliance. So one of the major obstacle to the cloud migration is the data security and compliance. So cloud services use a shared responsibility model where they take the responsibility for securing the infrastructure and the customer is responsible for securing the data. And the workload. So while the cloud provider may provide robust security measures, it is your organization's responsibility to configure them correctly and ensure that all the services and the applications have the appropriate security controls. The migration process itself presents the security risks. So transferring large volumes of data, which may be sensitive, and configuring the access control for applications across different environments creates significant exposure. Okay, so these are the common cloud migration challenges we have seen, that is lack of strategy, cost management, vendor lock-in, and data security. So till this point, do you have any problem? So let us turn towards the next bit of this part only. So that is nothing but we have seen what are the common cloud migration challenges. Okay, so now we are going to see the cloud migration strategies. So what are the different cloud migration strategies? So Gartner has identified 5 cloud migration techniques known as 5 Rs. Okay, so organizations looking to migrate to the cloud should consider which migration strategies best answer their needs. So the 5 Rs we are going to discuss now. In that, the first one is rehost. So rehosting or lift and shift involves using infrastructure as a service, that is our IaaS. So you simply redeploy your existing data and applications on the cloud server. So this is easy to do and is thus suited for the organizations less familiar with the cloud environments. So it is also good option for cases where it is difficult to modify the code and you want to migrate your application intact. So that is nothing but the rehost. Then refactoring. So refactoring or lift, tinker and shift is when you tweak and optimize your application for the cloud. So in this case, a platform as a service PaaS model is employed. The core architecture of the application remain unchanged, but adjustments are made to enable the better use of cloud-based tools. Next is revise. So revising builds upon the previous strategies, requiring more significant changes to the architecture and code of the system being moved to the cloud. So this is done to enable the applications to take full advantage of the services available in the cloud, which may require introducing major code changes. So this strategy requires planning and or advanced knowledge. Next is rebuild. So rebuilding takes the revise approach even further by discarding the existing code base and replacing it with a new one. So this process takes a lot of time and is only considered when the companies decide that their existing solutions don't meet the current business needs. And finally, the replace. So replacing is another solution to the challenges that inform the rebuild approach. The difference here is that the company does not redevelop its own native application from scratch. So this involves migrating to a third party pre-built application provided by the vendor. So the only thing is that you migrate from your existing application is the data, while everything else about the system is new one. Okay, so these are the 5 Rs. Then next is the 4-step for cloud migration process that we are going to see now. Out of these 4 steps, the first one is the cloud migration planning. So one of the first step to consider before migrating the data one of the first steps to consider before migrating the data to the cloud is to determine the use case that the public cloud will serve. So will it be used for disaster recovery, DevOps, hosting enterprise workload by completely shifting to the cloud, or will a hybrid approach work best for your deployment? So in this stage, it is very important to assess your environment and determine the factors that will govern the migration, such as critical application data, legacy data, and application interoperability. So it is also necessary to determine your reliance on the work, on the data. So do you have data that needs to be resynced regularly, data compliance required to meet, or non-critical data can possibly to migrated during the first few passes of the migration? So determine these requirements. This will help you charter a solid plan for your tools you will need during the migration, and identify which data needs to be migrated and when. So if the data needs any scrubbing, the kind of destination volumes to use, and whether you will need encryption of the data both at rest and in transit. The second step is migration business case. So once you have determined your business requirements, you should understand the relevant service offered by the cloud providers and other partners and their costs. So determine the expected benefits of cloud migration along the three dimensions, that are the operational benefits, cost savings, and architectural improvements. So build a business case for every application you plan to migrate to the cloud, showing an expected total cost of ownership, that is the TCO on the cloud, compared to the current TCO, that is the total cost of ownership. Then use the cloud cost calculators to estimate the future cloud costs using the realistic assumptions, including the amount of nature of storage used, then computing resources, and taking into account the instance types, operating system, and specific performance and networking requirements. Then work with the cloud providers to understand the options for cost saving given your proposed cloud deployments. Cloud providers offer multiple pricing models and provide deep discounts in exchange for long-term commitment to the cloud resources. So these are the reserved instances, or a commitment to a certain level of the cloud spend, saving plans. So these discounts must be factored into your business plan to understand the true long-term cost of your cloud migration. Then third step is cloud data migration execution. So once your environment has been assessed and a plan has been mapped out, it is necessary to execute your migration. So to maintain, or here in this case, the main challenge is carrying out the migration with minimal disruption to the normal operation at the lowest cost and over the period of time. So if your data becomes inaccessible to the users during a migration, you risk the impacting your business operation. Means at the time of transferring, at the time of migration, your customer will not have access to the data. So how it is going to harm your business? So that point also, that risk also you need to consider. The same is true as you continue to sync and upload your system after the initial migration takes place. So every workload element individually migrated should be proven to work in the new environment before migrating another element. So you will also need to build or to find a way to synchronize the changes that are made to the source data while the migration is ongoing. So both the AWS and Azure people provide built-in tools that aid in AWS cloud migration and in Azure data migration. And later in this article, we will see the NetApp users benefit from migrating the services and features that come with Cloud Volume ONTAP. And the last one, that is fourth one, is ongoing upkeep. So once that data has been migrated to the cloud, it is important to ensure that it is optimized. It should be optimized, secure, and easily retrievable and moving forward. It also helps to monitor for real-time changes to critical infrastructure and predict the workload contentions. So a part of real-time monitoring, you should also assess the security of the data at rest to ensure that the working in your new environment meets regularly regulatory compliance laws such as HIPP, PAA, HIPAA, and GDPR. So another consideration to keep in mind is meeting ongoing performance and availability benchmarks to ensure your RPO, RTO objects should they change. Okay. So migrating data to the cloud with NetApp cloud volumes, that part we are going to see now. So let me add these points. in the slide. So next is the next part is the migrating the data to the cloud with NetApp cloud volumes. So cloud migrations can be complex, as we know it, and contain a lot of moving parts. So one of the most complex aspects of migration, especially in a large enterprise, is moving and synchronizing that large volumes of data. See, just one example, you have, suppose you have a database application, okay, database project, and you are using one particular laptop only for the whole process. But afterwards, what is decided for the project or so that you need to shift whole data to another machine, and then the database linking and other things you need to do. Okay, so you will definitely face problems, because whatever the configuration you have done on your system, those all configurations you need to complete on the another machine as well. Okay, so this is just an example related to one particular project only. Just think about the whole business you will be migrating from one cloud to another, or your local data center to the cloud. So definitely it may need the procedure will be absolutely complex, and that will contain a lot of moving parts. So one of the complex aspects of migration, especially in the large enterprise, is moving and synchronizing of large amount of or large volumes of data. So the NetApp's cloud solutions can help to simplify the migration process by providing the tools that will help you move and sync your data easily, quickly, and securely. So in this section, we will discuss some of the benefits of using the NetApp's cloud volumes, which comes in two service models: the fully managed cloud volume service and the hands-on cloud volumes, that is nothing but the ONTAP. ONTAP. So first one, the benefit will be faster transfer and lower cost. So with the cloud volumes, the NetApp will provide you the several tools that will help you to automate, then sync the data faster and secure your data while transitioning to the cloud. See, many times this may happen that at the time of transferring the data, if proper security measures are not included, your data could be hacked. So proper security measures should be included at the time of transitioning of your data. So NetApp's Snap Mirror data replication technology gives the cloud volumes ONTAP a way to seamlessly transition the data and workloads into the cloud, not just during the initial migration, but onwards with the continuous synchronization according to the user's predefined schedule. So the cloud volumes, that is the ONTAP storage efficiencies, also help reduce the network bandwidth costs during the migrations by reducing the storage footprints, which also accelerate the data transfer. So for the users of on-premises, FAS and AFF on-tap storage system, SnapMirror will enable you to seamlessly move the data to or from the cloud as necessary for ongoing hybrid environment syncs. So for these migrations that are being carried out from systems that are not both on tap, Cloud Volume Service offers the cloud sync to carry out the migration between any kind of a object-based storage repository. Next is the high availability with cloud volumes. So this is one of the most important parameters to measure uptime. So some of the biggest cloud migration challenges that can impact your business continuity arise from failing to plan for issues such as drive failure, network misconfiguration, and availability zone failures. So the Cloud Volumes HA configuration provide an AWS high availability infrastructure by maintaining two storage environments and synchronously writing to them during the storage operations. This will ensure that from an application or end user perspective, there is no downtime as there is a seamless transition to the secondary storage in case the primary storage fails. So in terms of SLA numbers, Cloud Volumes HA can help you to achieve a recovery point objection, that is RPO, of 0 and a recovery time objective, that is RTO, of less than 60 seconds. So the multiple availability zone deployment model will help protect against the availability zone failures. So these features ensure that your cloud environment is resilient, safe from service disruptions, and able to host critical workloads as well as the data migration processes without requiring expensive HA setup on the application side. Next is the data protection. So Cloud Volumes allows the creation of application aware snapshots that have no performance impact and consume minimal storage space. So these snapshots are created in a matter of seconds, irrespective of the size of the volume that is being copied. So instead of copying all the data in the system, this NetApp snapshots only copy the data that was changed by the manipulating block pointers. So for ongoing migrations, these snapshots are low cost and highly efficient way to protect your system. And on-tap snapshot creation can also be entirely automated in order to create backups, which for many users has the benefits over using the native AWS or Azure services for the disk backups. Next is the cost optimization. So the major benefit of using the Cloud Volumes on tap come with its storage efficiency features, that is thin provisioning, data compression, deduplication, and compaction, as well as data tiering, and flex clone writable clones. The storage efficiency features work in tandem to limit the amount of storage you consume and reduce the data in transit costs. Altogether, these benefits can save a company as much as 50 to 70% in storage and data transfer cost. So we will have just half an hour in our hand. So let me take that bit also in the presentation here now. And that is nothing but the selection criteria for the cloud deployment. What are the different selection criteria that are there to go for a particular cloud provider? Okay, so those criteria are listed now over here. Let me do some kind of a formatting which I left yesterday. Just give me 1 minute. So these selection criteria we are going to see now. Which are the points through which you are going to opt for a particular service provider that are being listed here. On internet, you may get many of such websites which will give you many answers for this. So again, let me share my screen. Yes. So the selection criteria for cloud deployment. So those are nothing but the performance, reliability, flexibility, security, location of data center, value, and pricing. So 7 out of many criterias I have listed over here. If you find any other resources, you can go for them also. So once you have identified your HPC cloud migration strategy with some different cloud migration services, you will want to research cloud providers. So till now, what you have seen is that what are your requirements? What are the requirements from the clouds for your data that should be there with your service providers, isn't it? So now it is time to choose a particular cloud provider, okay, which will give you all the benefits that you have listed till now. So choosing the right cloud provider or the providers, some enterprises employ more than one. So this will depend upon the several factors, not least of which is the types of workloads you plan to run in the cloud. So it is important to understand which provider offers the best combination of all the features and the resources that meet your unique needs while providing you with maximum value. So here you will want to make sure that you get the right one for you. So there are the loads of benefits that are there. So if you are unsure about who to use, you just have to do a bit research first. Okay. So as with any business expenditure, you will want to exercise diligence when evaluating the providers, including their data center security and their level of HPC experience. So references from the customer operating in industries similar to yours can be helpful as you whittle down to a short list. Generally, the cloud solution you choose should be easy to deploy. Should be easy to deploy and manage. So your provider should offer the best in-class infrastructure, including the latest hardware and GPUs, broad application support, solid security, expert support, and a reasonable, easy to understand cost structure. So the range of services offered by the cloud providers can be overwhelming. So here we have prepared 7 categories to help the kickstart your evaluation process. So by no means in this exhaustive list that will come later. So some 7 criteria for the other categories are listed over here. So first of all is the performance. So for high performance computing, the latest CPUs and GPUs accelerators are critical and is a high-speed networking with about 10 Gbps or faster connections to the cloud and fast connections between the cloud instances. So you may want dedicated or bare metal servers and high performance storage that can handle both high bandwidth and high transaction workloads. So choose a vendor that can deliver consistent compute and storage performance at scale. So you will want to make sure that you get the right cloud computing equipment so that your business can run smoothly. So depending on what systems your business uses, such as third-party risk management system, so it means that you need to make sure that you have the cloud system. Okay, this is the performance. Then comes the reliability. So this seems like a no-brainer, but there are many aspects to the reliability. So including the redundancy and cross-geo data replication. So look for the providers with multiple data centers that include redundant power, cooling, and network carriers. So be sure support is proven in the area of HPC and is available 24/7. Your cloud provider should demonstrate the experience in building, running, and supporting the HPC environments. Working with a large data center that can provide the power of multiple data centers could help you to take advantage of single consistent service. Next is the flexibility. So your HPC cloud provider should offer a wide range of flexible solutions and have a good understanding of hybrid clouds. So look for the ability to select the right machine for the type of jobs you will run, as well as mixing up physical and virtual machines when needed. So ask about the tools and features like auto scaling, resource management, and persistent disk storage. So look at for a variety of data storage options include file system, relational databases, key value stores, and object stores. What are the procedures for importing and exporting the data as well as backup and storage to integrate with your on-premise infrastructure and applications? So if your provider is unwilling to offer flexible and customization when needed, move on. Next is the security, which is very important. So end-to-end data encryption should be non-negotiable. Ask about the physical and the software precautions put in place. Look for non-shared servers, server storage, and segregated networks to protect your valuable data. Also, if you are bound by regulatory regulations like HIPPA, HIPAA, or financial regulations, look for the providers that comply with requirements and accept the compliance related risks. Your provider should make encryption available to protect both data at rest and data in motion. And these services should work with high performance file transfer or data replication solutions. Next is the location of data centers. So because security and compliance regulations vary from country to country, the enterprises operating worldwide should be aware of whether their cloud provider hosts data. So if your data and applications are highly sensitive, know where your users are geographically and ensure that data centers are located close by. Finally, the volume. Second last is the value. So beyond the basic capabilities of flexible compute, storage, networking, provisioning, and auto scaling, there are other aspects to consider when it comes to HPC in the cloud. So your provider should allow you to grow and shrink the computing resources and the computing resources you need even on short notice. For example, you may need additional computing power for just a few hours to handle a temporary workload increase. So other times you may want additional capacity for indefinite periods. So your provider should be equipped with the tools to automate the process of increasing and decreasing the capacity. So it will help to manage your cost burden, thereby delivering the value. And next is the pricing. So making a true price comparison between the providers can be difficult due to their varying pricing models and discount structures. So above all, look for the clarity in pricing plans. Most reputable providers offer online price accelerators to get you started and free introductory tiers that allow you to try before you buy. Try before you buy. And just one bit is remaining of this chapter. So chapter is totally theoretical. I think I may finish that remaining bit also, so that the remaining hours we can use for like our test and any other remaining part. So the last bit is issues and risk in migrating to the cloud. Okay. Let me put that point on the slide because I missed it yesterday. So on the internet resources, you may find different reasons for the same. So some of the relative reasons where you can add your ideas, your answer in the question also. So that from that point of view, I have taken these points, because on the internet you may find many resources which will give you all this data. Okay. So the final bit of this unit, and that is nothing but the issues or risks in migrating to the cloud computing. Okay, so we will see all of them one by one. So there are many benefits of cloud migration that we have seen till now. Okay, so moving your business operations to the cloud can be cost effective. It will increase the productivity and definitely offer greater security among the reasons to make this big change. So if you do decide to take the plunge and migrate to the cloud, you will need to carefully develop a cloud migration project plan. So there are number of cloud migration tools that will be helpful in this process. However, when considering moving to the cloud, there are also a number of risk factors that you will need to consider. So these are listed over here. Out of them, the first one is the lack of clear cloud migration strategy. So many people get caught up in the hype and the rush to move over to the cloud without fully thinking it through. So before you jump head first into the cloud computing, you will need to consider a number of questions and come up with a clear strategy for migrating to the cloud. So consider your reasons for moving to the cloud and the benefits you are hoping to achieve. So think about what and how much data you want to migrate to the cloud. So there might be especially critical or sensitive data that you want to keep. That you want to keep on premises. Also decide how much storage you require and how many different cloud providers you might need. So don't skip over this necessary planning stage, because rushing in without a cloud migration strategy can lead to a problems such as enormous expenses or system failure, etc. Secondly, incompatibility of existing architecture. So cloud migration can be challenging for the companies, those companies whose business depend on legacy applications, which may rely on programming languages, execution environments, and system libraries that are not readily available in or are not fully supported by the cloud. So if this is a problem for you, You will have to be aware of it so you can come up with architectural solutions to circumvent the issue. Then the security risks. Third is the security risk. So there are probably the biggest risk faced by companies that are making the move to cloud computing. So migrating to the cloud involves all kinds of security risks, from compliance violation and contractual breaches to insecure APIs, accidental errors, malware, external attacks, and more. So it is essential that when moving to the cloud, you be aware of these risks and equip yourself to handle them. So when choosing a cloud provider, look for one with a strong compliance portfolio. So at the same time, you will need experienced DevOps engineers and a security team that can take action to ensure your data's long-term security in the cloud. So this includes the encryption of the data, both in transit and at rest, the configuration of a firewall, the isolation of individual workloads in order to minimize potential damage, and the training of others on maintaining data security in the cloud. Fourth one is the reduced visibility and control. So lack of visibility in the public cloud is a very real risk of cloud migration that can affect the performance. So when your data is stored on premises, you have full control over all of your resources, policies, and infrastructure. But when migrating to external cloud services, some of these responsibilities move to the cloud service provider, which can result in reduced visibility for your company. Fifth one is the data loss. So whenever moving the data to be stored in the new location, there is always a risk of it being lost. So be it due to various technical issues or due to human error, you may find some of your files to be missing, incomplete, or corrupt. So ensure that your CSP has data backup, restoration, and failover options. So it is a good idea to have your data backed up by more than one cloud provider, so you will not have to worry about unexpected downtime by the particular provider. In addition, it is a good idea to back up all your important data on a disk as well. Sixth one is the incomplete deletion of a data. So while data loss is a real concern, there can be another issue at other end of the spectrum. So when your data is spread out over multiple storage devices, this risk is even more concerning. When you need data deleted in a timely manner, but the data is saved on the same hardware as data from the other clients, it is not as simple as just destroying the disk. So in addition, because the procedures for deletion may differ from one provider to another, it can be difficult to verify whether your data was deleted securely and ensure that none of it remains. So the more CSPs, cloud service provider services you use, the greater this threat becomes. Then seventh one is overspending. That is, the pricing models of cloud providers are flexible, but they can often be difficult to understand. So this can and sometimes does lead to the wasted expenditure up to 70% of the cloud costs. So there are various fees involved in the cloud computing, and every provider is going to offer a different range of services and prices. It can be challenging to choose the best combination. If you don't do the required calculations to figure out exactly what it is your need, you may end up wasting a great deal of money. So be sure to optimize your costs. And if you don't know how, hire an expert to do it for you. Then last one is the unwanted latency. So added latency is a risk of cloud migration that is often underestimated. So a few seconds delay by your app can seriously damage your business. Not only is the latency a cause of frustration for the customers, but it can gravely impact your brand reputation. So there are a number of possible solutions for latency issues, but if these methods don't work or are too expensive, it might take sense to keep some of your data on premises. Okay, so these are the issues or the risks to the cloud computing. Okay, so here we are ending with this unit and the syllabus too. So if you have any doubt till now, you can ping me personally. Okay. Already yesterday I have shared all the study material with you. So assignment question, just give me 1 or 2 more days, because I get very less time to sit on the system and to collect all. As in the first lecture only, I told you that I am having only 6 months baby and I have to take care of her as well. Okay, so no worries. I think I have conducted first 3 unit test. Fourth one, for that assignments are been given to you. So the remaining 3 class tests we will conduct in upcoming week. Yes, Pranesh, any problem? So the remaining test we will conduct in upcoming lectures, and the related assignments also I will share with you. One student asked about the document type of assignment solution. So that is not included, or that will not be accepted. You have to write all the assignments as you are having offline papers. So I think the write-up should be considered from your side. Okay. So other instructions I will share with you on the groups only. Okay. So for today, I will stop over here. You can put your attendance in the chat and leave. I think she is crying. So all the other details I will tell you on the group. Okay. Put your attendance and you can leave. I will be there for further assistance for you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Kajal Kharade, you can put your attendance and leave. Kajal Kharade.